Dear friends, thank you very much for this great honor. Thank you to the HAPA Award. HAPA is one of the most important, most prestigious, most impactful organizations, Christian organizations, and I'm deeply honored to be recognized by peers, by HAPA. Thank you so much. And of course, tremendous thanks to all of you who came here tonight. Particular thanks to Dean, John, and John, who were so generous with their introductions. So I know I have to speak for a few minutes only, but if you don't mind, I will take a few more minutes, and I hope not to bore you. So I want to reflect a little bit on my own career. When I came to the US in 1980 to study, it was not really obvious to me that I was coming to a place that I would call home for life. And in 1982, when I graduated from Harvard with an MBA, the career path of corporate America in the US seemed the most logical option. However, my first job, the one that I accepted after graduating from Harvard, was in London. And I went to London for that job. However, the unexpected happened. My wife, Marie, came to visit Athens. I think the sun, the moon, the Greek air. Bottom line, I fell in love. So my job in London lasted for a month, and I came back to the US, where I have happily been ever since. So I came back, and the first 13 years, from 1982 to 1995, I pursued a career in corporate America, and I think if you read my resume, I did reasonably well. However, there were two things that really were missing to me. Number one, for those that you know me, I'm not exactly the epitome of a corporate person. I'm very entrepreneurial, I want to do my own things. And secondly, I really wanted to do something that related to Greece. I couldn't really understand Greece just as a vacation spot for me. So what happened is I had a flurry of ideas, an avalanche of ideas that I presented to Marie. After all, herself being a Harvard Business School, and my wife, she was a captive sounding board. And it did put a little bit of a strain on the relationship because every single idea I presented to her to start my own business she rejected. Except Capital Link. So I did found Capital Link. And I think Capital Link ever since has developed into a very nice organization. The work that we do does not focus only on Greece, it goes well beyond Greece, but it's enough of Greece to breathe, to have in my heart and my mind, and I feel quite balanced. The things that you recognize me tonight that I'm grateful for is the efforts that we have been doing to promote Greece as a business and investment destination and then shipping. So I will make a few remarks on each direction. When it comes to promoting Greece as a business and investment destination, as Dean mentioned, indeed in 1994 I think I organized the first roadshow for the Athens Stock Exchange. Nobody knew about the Athens Stock Exchange at the time, and the market had not yet taken off. If you recall, the Greek stock market took off with a bang for a number of years, and at the time I owned a stockbroking firm, Alexander Capital. We used to represent Sigma Securities, one of the largest stockbroking firms in Athens. So we really promoted the Greek stock market very consistently and aggressively, both as Capital Link and Alexander Capital. And then, of course, the Greek stock market imploded. I remember at the time saying that in Greek, πάμε από την εποχή του Περικλέους στην εποχή της Σοφοκλέους. So we go from the Pericles golden years to the Sophocles, the street where the other stock exchange was located at the time. But again, as I said, at some point of time, the Greek stock market imploded. In the meantime, Olga and I have come up with the idea that if you really want to promote Greece, you need a platform that will be there for good, permanently, that will present Greece in a very responsible way, very top level. And we started Capitaling, the Invest in Greece Forum. Well, it took a long time to develop it into the institution that it has become. I have to say a couple of things here. I'm particularly proud of the fact that we have done this event year after year, no matter what are the political and economic conditions in Greece. And that is particularly relevant when, as Dean mentioned, things in Greece were tough. And I remember at the time, December of 2015. It was the first time, it was the first year of the Cypriot government. If you all remember the July referendum, the yes, the no that turned into yes, and all the peripetties and adventures Greece had gone through. So December of 1995, I remember 8 o'clock in the morning. It was a packed room. It was the first time that the 4 institutions, the had come to New York, outside of Greece, in a conference to talk about Greece. The European Central Bank, the European Stability Mechanism, the European Commission, and the IMF. Actually, I have to say, it was Olga who had put that amazing panel together. And so I'm really particularly grateful that we had the opportunity to contribute when it mattered the most. Right now, Greece has turned the corner. We're in a very different environment, but I think still the idea of doing something consistently, constantly, always top level, attracting every successive government from the US or Greece, and featuring leaders from the government and private sector is really tremendous. I will go now into shipping. As John Devatteras mentioned, when shipping came to Wall Street, it was really not very well known. Actually, I was with Myros Talmason on a panel in London last week, and we were discussing about that. Shipping is the invisible industry. How many average Americans have thought or have seen a ship? Shipping became prevalent. Everybody started knowing about shipping. When Wall Street came up with a motto, no shipping, no shopping. When during the crisis we couldn't get the goods that everybody delivered through the internet, and we had all these bottlenecks around the world, that's when people said, shipping, very important. No shipping, no shopping. But anyway, going back to 2005, when the Greek firms started listing in New York, frankly, I think I had found my calling at the time. I had been a shipping banker. I had been actually a visiting lecturer on shipping in London for a long time. I had been an investment manager, a stockbroker, so everything that I had done glued together. And thankfully also I had a ton of relationships among the Greek ship owners. And I was able to transform that into helping all of these companies navigate their way into the US capital markets. And if you allow me to be a little bit not arrogant, my wife says that as a Greek, I am very low profile. And I am. Those that know me, I'm a particularly low profile person, no power status. I actually don't like the use of plηθυντικός when people talk to me, because you do not earn the use of plural simply through an employment relationship, you earn it through respect. But anyway, we started this conference as a means of raising the profile of Greek shipping and shipping around the world, and I'm absolutely proud to tell you the truth that Capitaling is today present in 10 major locations. Deptérας mentioned them with 18 events, and all of them are top of the line. So I'm absolutely humbled. Actually, I will tell you something that happened a week ago. We were discussing with the Shanghai government, who had a Zoom call about putting together an event that will take place in October. We had about a 2-hour call. There was a Chinese translator, because obviously my Chinese is non-existent. But I took a lot of pride when I was listening to a language I could not understand at all. And there were 2 words that were repeatedly mentioned: capital N and Nicholas. I said, wow, we are really a brand. Anyway, I'm really delighted we had this opportunity, and thank you for honoring these efforts. I will conclude by saying a few important things. First of all, I'd like to thank my family, and it's not cliche, everybody thank their family. They supported me, and they've actually put up with me to the degree that they have contributed a new addition to the medical directory. I don't know if you have heard about chronic telephonitis. I'm on the phone 24/7, and a favorite picture, actually not that favorite, is my 3-year-old son, who stands up, takes my mobile and throws it to the swimming pool. So I'd like to thank my family, and when we talk about family, I have to say that I need to share all these great things that you say about me with all of them. You all know that I am just a brother of all. So I'm standing in front of you today, but in reality it should be all that I mean, because we know that we love each other. I could not have done all these things without her by my side, and of course I could not have done all these things without my great team by my side. And I will take the message again. It's not nothing to say. I will take just a second to say, Eleni Bey and I have been together for 23 years. Foreign Buddhists and Council, 20 years. Annie Zhu, 12 years. Actually, I have to tell you, Annie is getting married this November, and she did me the great honor of asking me to take her down the aisle. And then we have Armando, Kayla, Markela, Kevin, all the others, anywhere between 6 and 10 years. So Capital Link is a team that you voluntarily check in, and very few people check out.
I would like to thank our colleagues in the Athens office who are not here tonight, but they are great members of the team. Αθηνά Κοσμαδάκη, Victoria Tsukala, Stavros Kalaris, and Anna Wichman.
Both teams, they work late hours, early mornings, late nights. They go not 1 mile extra, many more extra miles. I think, again, my wife says it best. When it comes to corporate culture, Capital Link is not a company, Capital Link is a culture. So thank you guys very much. And, closing by saying nothing would have been achieved without the great support and friendship of my clients, of all those people who supported us and believed in us for years. A lot of them are here tonight. There's a big speaking conference taking place in New York, not organized by Capital Link this time, but they had a lot of invitations to go to, but they prefer to come here and support me. And I have to tell you guys, nothing would have happened if I didn't have your support, your friendship, and your confidence in me. And at the end of the day, what I'm most proud of is not the things we have accomplished professionally, which I am, it's the relationships we have built over time, because these relationships bind people together, and these are bonds that stay there forever. So thank you to everybody. And you very much for this additional honor. I have to tell you, I don't think I deserve all this honor. Thank you very, very much. I receive them humbly on behalf of all of them, myself and my team. And by the way, thank you for mentioning one thing which I forgot to say before, that I'm particularly proud of. March of 2020, that's when COVID hit New York, big time. We had a conference planned in New York that we have been holding every March, and we were doing it March 20, if I remember. So at the beginning of March, I was tracking the statistics, 3 people with COVID, 7 people with COVID, 30 people with COVID, and then it's exploded. So people started calling, come, and this and that. To make a long story short, and Lou was very kind to bring this up. I'm so proud of my team. Within 2 weeks, we turned our conference from an in-person conference into an online one. Now, what is the importance of that? The importance of that is that it happened when everybody was home, without any other means of communicating. So it was the only conference at the time, well, the first ones in our sector that did it. Lloyd's List, a very well-known publication, called it a global phenomenon. And I have to tell you, I'm so moved when I meet people and they say, thank you very much for having done this when we were all miserable home, we couldn't talk to anybody, and we could log into our computer and connect with all those leaders around the world. But we kept doing it all the time. And thank you for, that earned us a lot of appreciation and of respect. And I remember Gary Wolf from Sewell & Kissel, a law firm, who actually sent me an email and he said, Nicholas, thank you for making the impossible possible. I mean, that really meant the world to me. And so, thank you, and I'm sorry about that.